Aloha, all you money makers. This is Indar Lang, and I'm super excited to talk to you today. How I became the first millionaire in my family. Super excited to talk about what it takes to get there. I know you guys want to know, so let's do it. Let's dive on and let's begin. What if I told you guys that subscribe button is the only thing that's separating you from financial freedom? Because knowledge is power. I'm going to give you all the knowledge so you can succeed in life. You guys don't know me? Aloha, my name's Indar Lang, and I'm the largest flipper here in Hawaii. And I've been flipping houses for over 10 years now. And I didn't just do it overnight. It took a lot of time, a lot of energy, a lot of work to get to where I'm at today. And I want to break down all those factors, all those habits, all those things that I did to bring me to where I'm at today. First, let me actually share what it means to be a millionaire, quotation marks here. Millionaire doesn't necessarily mean you make $1 million a year. Well, that's what I used to think, at least. Millionaire actually could mean is you have a net worth of $1 million. So when we have a lot of properties, you have the value of that property minus the debt of that property. Whatever that difference is, if subtract, if that's over $1 million, that means you're a millionaire. You're supposed to not include your primary residence in that number, by the way, anyone out there. But when you add up all those properties, if you own a bunch of property minus the debt, even though maybe you're only making $100,000 a year, that means you're a millionaire. So just so you clarify, it doesn't necessarily make you mean to make $1 million a year. It means that you have a net worth. And net worth is more cool to me, actually, honestly. Making $1 million a year, you have to do that every year. If you have a net worth of $1 million, that's even more cool because you can leverage, you can use that, you can get more things that grows. It's like a silent bank account, all these kind of fun things. So a little difference on that. And also to clarify and not take away from my parents, both my parents own their own businesses and they're very entrepreneurial, both my parents, and they're very hardworking. They're very successful. My mom really raised us and made a lot of money as a massage therapist and acupuncturist. And my dad now owns a huge construction maintenance company, but he's done all kinds of other businesses through the years. So I grew up with that family of entrepreneurs and so forth, and they did very well for themselves. We were first born on a pot farm, so that's back in the 60s and 70s, so entrepreneurs in that sense. But then my parents got out of that whole lifestyle and changed their whole, once they had our kids, and they were just both entrepreneurs and very successful in their sense of entrepreneurship. But my millionaire status really came when I started getting rentals and getting properties and getting flips and playing in this whole real estate business. So let me just kind of tell you what mindset was like for me early on growing up in that. And my mindset shift was always kind of this two different worlds in a sense. I grew up Hawaii, very local, very pidgin, very just akamai, just very knew there was two different worlds. I had two different sets of friends, and I leaned to the bad friends first, that party and have a good time and that kind of friendship. Later on in life, I realized that those friends are great and I love them to death to this day, but I had to change my surroundings. I think early on for me, it started off, I actually went to Heald College for a business school, and they really kind of instilled some big drivers that work to this day, dress successful, dress nice, dress the part. It just kind of, if you're not there yet, it's like fake it till you make it kind of idea. I know it sounds bad, but you're in a right room, with people, maybe you're 20 years old and you're in a room with 40 or 50 years old people. If you're just dressing the right part, you'll present better, you'll be able to communicate better, you'll be able to get recognition better. The little nuances of these kind of stuff really help change to where you're at today. So just acting like it, fake it till you make it, is huge. I think I lost my pidgin. I went to college for 2 years in the mainland, and I lost my pidgin. I still can do it. I can bust it out if I need to, but I lost my thick pidgin. I had a thick kind of pidgin growing up in the big island And I made a conscious kind of decision to stop speaking so heavily in pidgin. One, I was in the mainland, and people kind of, I don't know, I got teased about it, and so I didn't like it. And I'm like getting teased about it, obviously. So I was 19 years old, 18 years old, and it bothered me. So I made a conscious decision to stop speaking pidgin. Now you can do that, and that's fine, and that's great, but there is a time and a place for certain things. There's a time and place to act a certain way. There's a time and place, and that's what we're referring to right here. So if with your boys, your friends, you can bust it out. Bro, the kind when you like go to a beach cruise, hang out, you can bust that out when you're with your friends. But if you're in a room with successful business owners, or you're working with an investor and you're asking for $1 million, probably not the time and place to act and talk that way. So it's kind of fake it till you make it. It's kind of the best way to describe it. I know it sounds bad, but it is so true. There's a saying: you go to a barbershop enough, eventually you get a haircut. So it's kind of the same thing, which leads into the next segment. Kind of is the people you hang around. I love my friends, and they're great, and I grew up with some amazing people. But there are certain friends that I was just going to cruise at the beach, hang out, do nothing, surf. That wasn't the direction I wanted to go on. The direction I really always want to be is I want to be a millionaire. I want to have a nice car. I have that vision board. I was a very big fan of The Secret when that movie first came out. If you haven't watched it, watch The Secret. Very into goal setting since a young age, because I really had this deep desire of wanting more, of visualizing myself in the Ferrari, of having the nice house, the family, the nice things, even money. Money does buy you things, believe it or not. You can buy some really nice things that do make you happy. So having those kind of objects, as well as some self, things to really enjoy, travel, a great family, to have financial freedom, the ability to do certain things, does also bring happiness, and that all into one big picture. So I was a very big advocate of seeing goals, writing goals. I still am today. I still goal set, write in my journal every morning. I still even break my goals better. I got better at it now. So just writing my goals and reverse engineering those goals. Say you want to make $1 million a year, and you're trying to do it through rental properties. Maybe that's your goal. How much rental income do you need to make $1 million a year? That's $83,333 a month you need. So how many rental properties does that take to make $83,000 a month? Say you have a rental property and makes $1,000 a month. That's going to mean you need 83 rental properties to be able to set that goal. So figuring out those types of goals will help you, get there to where you're at. But the second segment of hanging around the right people really was a game changer. When I started going to HEA College, I went to Manoa for electrical engineering, started being around just really intelligent people a lot smarter than me, which was great, because then they had different drivers, they had a different mindsets. We would study partners together, and so all of those people were very academic. So I was in that academic world of very academia. Most of those people actually stayed on at college, or they're still in the academia world, or went on to being electrical engineering as what we were going to school for at the time. And then later on, I started realizing that this was 24, 25, 26-ish, that I needed to hang around millionaires. I needed to hang around people who had $1 million, not people who wanted to get there, who needed to get there. I needed to be around those type of people. And I started joining clubs that had those type of people there. I had a mentor, just one guy I knew that was a millionaire, and I would just pick his brain all the time. And he was great. He would tell me, people who are successful think differently. I just swear to God, they they all have this little quirkiness to them. They all think differently. They're just not the norm. And you often question the differences. And I think that's what makes most of these people so successful, is that they don't follow in line in society. They will question things. They will think differently. I think actually, now thinking about it, all the successful people I know are very quirky in a sense, and that's what it makes amazing to me about them, that they all have this kind of difference to them, and that they think differently and they push the limits. They don't just fall in line and do what they told kind of people. They want to try new things. They want to take different paths than everybody else. And that's what it takes. It's very hard to change how we're programmed in life. We're programmed to go to school, get a good job, and work hard, and get paid. And it's very hard to change that, drilled into you for years and years, into okay, now I'm going to go start a business, and I'm going to not make any money for the first 6 months, and then I'm going to hope to get paid, and it's going to all work out, and it's going to be great, and I'm going to jump off this big cliff and try it. It's literally like that. So it's not as easy as an avenue as the norm. And that's what it takes. When you're around all these other successful people, they make that avenue seem easier. They make that those questions that you may have become easier. They make the mindset of it all to make a little bit more clarity. There's a great story I had early on, and this was, I know it's like every day to me now, but we're trained, we want to, say you want a brand new car. You need a new car. You have $25,000 to go buy a brand new car. So what does a normal person do? We're trained to take that 25 grand. We're going to go down to the dealership. We're going to put our down payment, and we're going to go buy a brand new car. We're going to make our payments $400 a month. That's our new car. That's what we're taught to do, right? That's just kind of the way you think it is. But the millionaire mindset is to take that 25,000, you go buy a rental property for 150,000 and put that as a down payment. And now that down payment is buying your rental property. That rental property is producing $500 a month net cash flow. You take that $500 a month, you go lease a new car, and now you're leasing a new car, and you're getting a property that's going up in value, it's appreciating and getting income, and you're getting a lease car that's depreciating and losing value. So just that mindset shift of how you make money work, how you use money differently, things like that. And when you're around these people, that's what happens. You surround yourself with people that are doing it, who are smarter, better. I won't share her name. There's a girl who's coming into office right now just to learn and intern and just be around it. And I really respect what she's doing, because there's moments she's helping us, she's doing work and so forth, but then I will take 30 minutes or something, just talk to her and just let her know what's on my mind, and talk to her about her goals, and just little things like that. I know it'll rub off on the people, just those little things, those little conversations like that, as they did with me. And they still to this day. A great example is I'm around these successful millionaires. I'm in these groups where you have to have a million net worth. You have to have money to be into these groups. And early on, 2019, I learned about cost segregation from these groups, from these millionaires. They were doing this big tax saving strategy called cost segregation study. And 2019, I did my first cost segregation, and it was a game changer. Instead of paying all these taxes, I used depreciation and all these great stuff to not pay taxes. And I didn't learn that from hanging around, at the beach, surfing all day. I learned that from paying money to go to these groups and being around these successful people. And, that was early on the whole thing. And now to this day, there's 100 more great things I've learned from them, of business, of growth, of hiring, so much stuff. And really successful millionaire people, if you're not one of them, if you're not there, you don't have if you're not there, it's a little different. But if you are part of them, you're around yourself with successful people, and you have value to them, they're an open book. They're an open book. If you're, just as open as you are to them, it's a two-way path. They really, really have a helpful attitude. Almost every successful person I know has this really open book mentality to them. What do you want to know? Anything. But if you're brand new at this and you're still trying to figure it out, do not come with, hey, tell me who's your investors, who's your private money, who's your contractors. Don't come with that. You need to come with, how can I add value to you? What can I do to add value to you, to help you, and then I can add value back. So if you are, haven't got there yet, don't come with a lot of questions. Come with more of what can I do to really add value to you? What can I do to add value to your time? And do not expect things in return. There's a group I'm in, actually, and I do not like to, I just want to add value to this group. There's a group that I really enjoy being a part of, and I sometimes don't want to ask for anything because I want to just add value to that group, because these are really badass people, successful people, and I just want, as much as I can, add value to their lives. And if stuff comes back, it comes back. But when you have that mindset of adding value, it comes back to you. But these groups I'm in, and they're so helpful to how you're hiring people, what are you doing to keep your dreams alive, what's your goals, what's your quarterly goals, what are you doing to achieve them, what's stopping you from getting there, here's what I've done. So just being around those right kind of people really changes. So I would implore to you to have two sets of friends sometimes. If it's, you want to get into chill mode and you do want to get away and just clean your brain, you can hang out with your friends that you grew up with. But when you really want to drive and really want to take it to the next level, put yourself into those rooms with those people and just keep yourself there somehow. Just constantly just hanging around them will get you there. There's plenty of things you can do to just hang around. Start going all the events, all the meetups, of course. Hang out with. There's a lot of different ways that you can just be around those people. Add value, add work, add messages, whatever. There's just think of, be creative. Best way I could explain to it all. And the last thing I want to share about becoming a millionaire, is I talked about it earlier, but your goal setting. I feel like my goals were big at the time, but now looking back, my goals were never big enough. I had a goal to make $1 million and make this, and I feel like now that I've achieved it, like it was such a small goal. Like, why did I dream so small? So I implore you to dream bigger, set those goals even bigger. It's almost like you're shooting for the stars, and if you make it halfway, you're still fine. So you shoot to be a 100 millionaire, and if you make it halfway, I guess you can settle, for 100 million or 50 million, whatever. So, you set the bigger goals, and if you do fail, at least you're not as, you're halfway there. So, set your goals bigger and really take the time. Goals I don't think are necessarily the right place, something to start. It's an end point to look at, but what is all the steps to get there? Reverse engineer. I constantly am reverse engineering things. Like, okay, I want to, have more time with my kids. What is that going to take? Okay, I want to leave work at 3:00 every day. What is that going to take? I want to spend more time with my wife. What is that going to take? How is that going to get there? So just like, I think life sometimes, if you just sit down and think, just really, really think, you know all the answers. In real estate, it's a great example. Real estate is very easy to understand. It's pretty cut and dry. You buy a house cheap, you sell it for more. You fix it up, you buy a great rental, make sure it cash flow. It's not sometimes rocket science. It's just taking the time to sit down and think and learn. When I first started, I'd sign up for an education program, and that education program really just put everything in line for me. I knew some of the basics, but just that education program like kind of just ordered it to me, put the chapters in order. And so that's what it is sometimes, is a lot of the basics of life in general, these point. It's one is, of course, taking action to do it, but two, just putting one foot in front of the other. What are the steps it takes? And not necessarily the big steps. What are those little steps to take? A good thing I practice still to this day is I'll just do anything and everything there's a lot of things I don't like doing, but I'll just won't think about it too much. I'll just do it. And that way I'm not worried about doing it later. Like, it doesn't build up. I just took care of it now and we're on to the next thing. Even if I sometimes don't want to do it, I'm like, I'll just do it now and just get it done with and move on to the next thing. Taking the time to sit down and think and learn. When I first started, I'd sign up for an education program, and that education program really just put everything in line for me. I knew some of the basics, but just that education program like kind of just ordered it to me, put the chapters in order. And so that's what it is sometimes, is a lot of the basics of life in general, these point. It's one is, of course, taking action to do it, but two, just putting one foot in front of the other. What are the steps it takes? And not necessarily the big steps. What are those little steps to take? A good thing I practice still to this day is I'll just do anything and everything there's a lot of things I don't like doing, but I'll just won't think about it too much. I'll just do it. And that way I'm not worried about doing it later. Like, it doesn't build up. I just took care of it now and we're on to the next thing. Even if I sometimes don't want to do it, I'm like, I'll just do it now and just get it done with and move on to the next thing. And I think that's huge, is just taking the steps, the little steps, to just keep on doing the right things, of course. Once you start making money, if your goal is to make money, the real hard part is to keep on making money sometimes, as the job itself continues to grow and beyond, and to grow, and you got to keep on doing it. So start realizing, for me, I was making $1 million flipping houses, which is great, but I didn't have nothing to show for it. I didn't have rentals. And then when I started realizing to get rentals, putting my money there and start leaning into that side of it all, we have 160 rentals to this day, and leading into getting rentals more really kept that longer term of, okay, I don't have to flip as much houses. I can live off our rentals. I can get these stabilize these properties and enjoy that to come. We're actually going to sell a huge part of our rental portfolio here, and if it all goes well, we'll probably make three mil off of it, and I can then actually take that $3 million and go invest it at 12% return, and live off of $360,000 a year in that returns. So, and that's just that $3 million. We have other rentals and so forth, but you can take money, of course, and then start leveraging and using it to make it work for you. But with that said, I am very blessed to be, very successful. It is a hard path. It's not easy. And I help my brother. I work with my brother, and I try to give back to my brother. I love to give back more to him. I taking care more of my family and just going places and taking care of, who got me there. My parents are definitely the people who got me there, and as well as all the pushing and all the help from everybody else as well. But you can all get there. It's a big hump at the beginning, but after a while it gets easier as you just keep putting one foot in front of the other. Now for our investor inbox. Q&A. What do you think sets you apart from others? Why has real estate worked so well for you? So real estate, I always just felt like, okay, I have an electrical engineering degree. That's great. I can make $300,000 a year. That's great. But I always wanted more. I wanted the million. I want the million for some reason. It's just cool. It sounds cool. Billion sounds cooler. but I think just the drive in me, just never stopping, never being scared of going for it, is what sets me apart. Keep moving forward. I stumble and move forward, and I take educated risk. That's what it takes to be a business owner. You know, doing a flip is a risk, of course. When you big risk, big reward. So when you start making more money, you're taking essentially, educated, bigger things, bigger risk in a sense. So getting a well-grounded education, well-grounded knowledge of what you're doing, whatever business it is in, then you can go out there and go for it and take that, that jump. And that's what it is. It's taking that jump. It's taking that step forward into that direction and not looking back, knowing that you're going to keep falling forward. To this day, if God forbid, I lost, everything, I could go wholesale a couple properties and buy a flip and do a flip here and there and just start all over really quickly. And I feel like that's what I found gold when I realized that I can do that in real estate, that I can wholesale a few deals and do a couple flips and turn it all, do it all over again. So I found like real estate was that avenue to the next world. I'm around millionaires beforehand. When I was around all these millionaires, they either did real estate or they had real estate as part of their portfolio in life. So I just always knew real estate had to be part of my life. I didn't want to be the agent making 3%. They make great money, they definitely can make great money, but I want to be the guy in control. I don't want to be, no offense to any agent out there, but you're still you're still an employee. I want to be the guy. He who has the gold makes the rules. So I really want to be the guy who is in control and in control of my own destiny. I wasn't calling. I was calling the shots. So I just took that path myself. I wanted to be the guy who owned the houses. I just always wanted to be that, and that's where we're at today. Last part of the deal of the week, we have our multifamily deal that we're still looking for a few more investors. We're going to bring you guys in. I already have I think a few of you we got to contact, and anyone else wants to jump on our multifamily flip. And we have, I think, 2 deals in the pipeline. I think we just got locked up 2 more deals. So talk to Kylander and on our team, and I'd love for you guys to jump in and be a part of our deals and just make that money work for you guys. I mean, I do it. We all do it. You should make that money work. It's better than sitting anyplace else. Get at least a 12% return for your money. Make it work. It's definitely what that mentor I shared earlier on. He had $1 million. He still does. He has more than that. He lends out his money at 10%, and he just constantly keeps his money working. And still to this day, I think of that way too. You've got to keep money working for you, whatever that money is, making returns on it. So thank you guys for listening, and go out there, become a millionaire. Aloha.